related, where we highlight opportunities and obstacles in sports from former athletes with the thought process of giving a better understanding to future generations.
These conversations are meant to bring awareness to the hardships and the possibilities that come with the game. Let's get game related. Okay, today we have a guest. It's a pleasure to have the guest today. He's a DC native, went to high school here at Dunbar, played at South Carolina, had a 13-year professional career overseas and in the States. He's here to talk about his journey, and he'll let you know all about. And we're proud to have the living legend, Tre Kelley.
Appreciate you,
my brother.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Happy to be here, man. Happy to be here.
All right, so definitely in your tenure, man, Dunbar Senior High School, 3-time All-Conference player, 2-time All-Met player, 2-time Washington, D.C. Gatorade Player of the Year. Now, right there, and then from South Carolina, that didn't stop. The accolades still continue to pour. So a lot of people, most people, we focus on becoming successful, but handling that success is a different story. So talk about that, and what advice would you share to how you maintain that success over this long tenure that you had?
When it starts out, we all kind of think of what we want to do in life, and you guys, know as well as I do, basketball was an outlet for us. For me, it started a little different because it was like therapy to me. So I always thought about that start. I always thought about that beginning because I was doing it for a purpose. Trying to get away from, the environment that we all grew up in. You don't have to come from the same neighborhoods or the same community to grow up in that kind of space. It was, tough environment. Washington, D.C. has been tough for years, and it started with me just wanting to be somebody, and I always thought about that along the way. And I started with some tragedy also, in my life. My family experienced a lot of tragedy when I was growing up. So for me, I never let that vision go, of what I wanted to be, what I wanted to do. And I had some people along the way kind of teach me what I needed to do to succeed. I kind of studied myself and who I was. I studied the streets. I studied the game of basketball. I studied, just how, just human beings were. And, a lot of these things I had to kind of mesh together to get myself. And I did that. And to sustain that success once I started to develop it, I wouldn't say it was the easiest part, but I had already put it into a lifestyle, developed it into a lifestyle. Things that I learned, I just, it made me one step better, one step closer to where I wanted to be. Everything that I learned on the court, off the court, the physical nature of things, the mental nature of things, it just helped me just take one step every day, one step better. They say 1%, and that's what I was doing pretty much every day because I was 11 years old.
Wow.
I just, not to say that I never took steps back because, we're human beings and things happen, but I just never wanted to develop the bad habits that you get when you fail. We're going to fail if we do everything right. We're going to fail if we do everything right, but I try to eliminate just the bad things that could help me derail myself. And I didn't want to be that person. Like I said, I started with tragedy, and I just didn't want that to be my story. So to sustain the success, I developed a lot of discipline. Just a lot of discipline. I think that's the most important thing about it. Everybody who knows me and have known me since I was young, they know that I possess discipline. Especially with the game of basketball, working out, the physical nature of that. Getting up shots and going to workouts every day, not missing a day. I played 13 years as a pro and missed 4 games. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's
I missed
awesome.
4 games. Played 4 years of college basketball and missed 1. And they made me miss that game. We'll talk about that as we go. And then I played every game in high school. So, just to keep myself healthy mentally and physically. That was the goal, and I started to hate like missing practices and missing games and missing an opportunity to play because when we all go back to 9, 10 years old, we loved it, and I just sustained that love, and I think that helps you sustain the success.
Hey, real quick, how did you keep your people around you focused when you started, getting in the paper and you started, having all these crazy games where you're getting 40 and 50
Right.
and everybody around you, man, Tre Kelley this,
Right.
like how did you stay grounded right there?
Just kept working, and when you think about it, people start to understand who you are when you stay disciplined and you stay focused. There's times where you like, yeah,
I'm that dude.
but it's like, I'm saying that on the inside. Like I was never arrogant. I was never like a guy who would boast. I would do it talking trash sometimes, but it was just that fire that we all had, as basketball players. But the people around me, they understood just what was going on with me. They understood who I was, and it was just me just continuing, like whatever that was. Just, had 40, had 50 in high school. If I was supposed to work out that next day, or if that was my routine, I would do that again. If we were supposed to have like some type of workout, I would do that again instead of thinking that I was good enough. I'm 6 feet, so I'm not 6'7", 6'8", and I'm running around dunking on everybody. So I had to put that work in for me to excel.
Nice.
Have you ever been in a game where your shot just not falling?
Yes.
Or you got more turnovers than assists?
All the time.
Sometimes the best way to go is through. For the Good Therapeutic Services can help you turn a loss into a win. FTG is a group of licensed therapists here in the DMV area who help people create a unique formula to get through tough games, challenges, and circumstances.
Yes, give them a call at 571-412-1791 for a free consultation, or visit them online at psychologytoday.com by searching For the Good Therapeutic Services. Again, that number is 571-412-1791 for a free consultation, or you can go online at psychologytoday.com and search For the Good Therapeutic Services. Make sure you tell them to stay game related.
Okay, so what else that we would say inspired you to play basketball? I know you talked about just the tragedy, and then that just was an outlet from our environment when we grew up. But what was something else that inspired you to play? What were like was it players from the city that influenced your game or influenced you to play basketball?
So in the beginning, it was just Washington D.C. It was basketball town, and we all saw it somewhere. We all saw it at the Boys and Girls Club, Rex. You guys number 2, I'm number 12. I saw it there. I saw it on the outside on the blacktop. But in regards to the start, I mean, I can't go past the tragedy because that's really what ignited me. My mother was killed when I was 11 years old, and that pushed me in a way that without it, I just don't know who I would have been. Not even just from saying that I would have been bad if it wouldn't have happened, or I would have been good if it wouldn't have happened. But I just don't even know what I would have chosen if that wasn't the case. It was more of a divine experience the day that I found out she had passed. Got the call from my grandmother. My grandmother got the call, and I went, running out, storming out the door when she told me, that my mother was found dead. And I ran out and ran down Saratoga Avenue, and it was a few people in my grandmother's living room that day. This was August 22nd, 1996. This is a normal summer day. School is about to start in a couple weeks. It's a normal kid at that point, literally. Normal kid, no basketball aspirations at all. And that changed in about 5 to 6 minutes. Ran out the door. One of the guys that was inside from my grandmother's house. He's an older guy. He was one of my uncle's friends. We were all watching TV. He ran up behind me. So when he comes up behind me, he put his arm around me, and kind of gave me that speech. Man, I'm sorry, man. Everything's gonna be all right. We got you. We love you, man. And trying to console me, And he said, "Let's go back to Grandma's house." So we were walking back down Saratoga Avenue, and just started feeling some things. Started questioning what was going on. My first couple of questions to myself was, how in the world did this happen? Because I don't know yet. I don't even know how she passed away. And normal 11-year-old kid, I just don't know how. Even now, as a 38-year-old man, how my mind warped into what it warped into. Because I'm an adolescent, nowhere near mature at 11. But I had to be, in a sense, when you think about it, because my next question to myself was, how do I make her proud of me? I mean, I don't even know how I went there. I'm not even trying to figure out yet what's going on. But like I said, this was a divine experience. When I ran out the door, I kind of went blank for like probably about 5-10 seconds. And when I asked that question to myself, something told me to like turn to the left, and that was the basketball court. Something told me, like, if you want to make her proud of you, that's what you do. And I remember that the rest of that walk, which was probably like another 1 or 2 minutes, I'm walking back into my grandmother's house. Don't know what happened with my mom. Haven't even really processed this yet, but I'm walking back like, all right, okay, this is what I'm gonna do now. Okay, all right, I got this. I'm just what I'm gonna do. And now I had to, when I got back through the doors, I had to get back to reality and figure out what happened. Went back to my grandmother's room. Okay, what happened? And she told me what happened. And from that point on, it was a relentless approach to what you guys, read off those papers, like the accolades that, I was pushing through that entire time. I just happened to become a basketball player. I don't know how much talent I had at that point. I don't know how much skill I had at that point, but my mental approach, I think, was what helped the 6', 160, 165 guy at the time, when I was in high school. Looked like he was probably 7 feet on the court. Like people told me that along the way, like how I dominated. But that was just me being incredibly relentless. It was one of those things where, when I talk to some young kids that are out in the streets but also have some talent, you could use the same mentality in between these lines. Like that's really how this thing should go. They'll pay you for this. Now they're gonna put you in jail or in another box for what you're doing. But I didn't want that to be my story. So I was really, getting after it. And I look you in the eyes like, okay, it's me and you today. let's see who wins.
Yeah.
And then I started preparing myself to develop the skill set. And that's what everybody got over all of these years, So that was the beginning. When I started to really know that I wanted to do it, I started to see the Kurt Smiths, and I started to see Sherman Douglas. I started to see the regular guys in the neighborhood that was just as talented as those guys, but probably didn't get the recognition. You guys remember Fats, Nathaniel Holmes? I mean, he was one of the most exciting players I've seen at that time. So I remember watching him right before he passed away and thinking like, I mean, this dude is unbelievable. The spin moves, the crossover, in and out crossover.
Is that where you got your spin move from?
For sure. And that was, it was almost like I was paying homage to him, because when he passed away, man, it was like a dark cloud over top of the neighborhood. Like it seemed like it was dark for like months. After he passed in November of '99, and brutally murdered. And it was like it was so sad, to see his mom, to see his family members, and the neighborhood kind of go through that. And even then, inside, I was still like, okay, this is another reason to do it for. And that was just what it was.
So now we at Dumb. So one, how did you get to Dunbar? Like, what made
Um,
you go to Dunbar, and then, like, how did you feel? Because there's a lot of good players that came out of Dunbar,
for
a
sure,
lot
for
of
sure.
legendary teams
Unbelievable
and
guys, yeah,
everything,
for sure.
and you definitely dominated. I'm pretty sure you just demolished records that's there. So how do you feel to go to that dominant high school here in Washington D.C.
Mhm.
and be, if not the one of the best players that come out of Dunbar Senior High School?
So I was, you know, these days these kids got commit all over. You know, they commit, they commit. I committed to Spingarn. You know what I'm saying? I was about to go. I was about to go to Spingarn at first because that was the neighborhood school. Remember Doc Robinson? He was, you know, he was like the guy, you know, around town, especially on my end of DC. And you know, I knew that a few of my friends had already went to Spingarn, and I was going there. And one of the roving leaders, I can't even remember this dude's name. I've been trying to figure out what this guy's name is for years, but it was like a random, like almost like a trip that he took probably like 10 of us on to go and see the city championship at MCI Center.
Okay.
Dunbar against Gonzaga when Bernard Robinson, Brian Chase, and all of them. I think Bernard made the layup to win the game. I think they won by 2. And for some reason, man, when I saw them celebrating, I was just like, dang, man, I want to go to Dunbar. But I said it out loud. He was like, you want to go to Dunbar, man? I know the coach.
Like that.
I said, I know the coach. I'll take you up there. And he took me up there in the next couple of days, and I met Gary Lampkins, and that was it. You know, that was really what it was. But at the time, I had one of my best friends, and you guys know him, Daniel Battle, was the guy in junior high school ball.
Yeah.
Like, he was the one. I think he had like 40 points in like the championship junior high school game, and Dunbar actually wanted him. So it was like, yeah, we'll take him. Talking about me, we'll take him. And I think me and Battle talked about it. Look, let's go here together. We can make some big things happen. And that's how it went. I think I had already played a couple of summer league games with Spingarn, but like I said, when I saw them celebrating winning that championship, it just looked like something to be a part of, and I wanted to be a part of that. Started learning the history of Dunbar. When you go in there, you can see all the banners. And I remember going in there every day that I went into that gym for 4 years. I looked up there like, man, I want to put a band. I want to put my name right there. I want to put a championship right there. And that ended up, coming to fruition. That happened. Put my name up there, still up there now. Put the championship up there. It's the last championship the school had. And, it was to be a part of that and to hear those dudes, from the 90s and the 80s talk about the Dunbar tradition. It was amazing to be a part of. And I'm still happy to be a part of it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. So this is a question that we always talk about.
Neighborhood talk, man.
We always talk about this. So of course,
Yeah.
We played against each other in the city title game, but Earl Risby, a good friend of ours, he didn't play this game. So I always say the game would have been different if Earl would have played, just because he would have been a point, then you'd have been off the ball, Toe would have been off the ball. He his basketball IQ would have directed. Well, we played zone most of the game.
Yeah.
So, he know how to break it down and stuff like that. So, what is your take if Earl would have played and now city championship
game?
It
would have been a different game. I don't know what the outcome would have been. I fractured my shooting hand wrist in the DCIAA championship game on like a charge. Somebody tried to take a charge, and I fell down. I think I dealt with that a little bit even into my freshman year at South Carolina. So I wasn't 100%. But Earl not being there, a lot of people don't know the name, but this dude is. When you talk about point guards, high school point guards, he was probably one of the best that you will see. And we know him since he was like 8 or 9. And I remember seeing him when he was like 9 years old, and I couldn't believe. I thought I was
Man, it's
out of
the
my
game
league.
crazy,
I
right?
thought I was out of my league when I first saw Earl Wisby play. Like, what just happened? Like, he was going full court bounce passes on the money. You know what I'm saying? No looks. It was crazy to see. And then when we ended up playing high school ball together, it was like it was incredible just being the stuff that he would do. And dude didn't work out.
Right.
His body was all messed up. I mean, even in high school, as a high school person, you got some type of muscle,
physique, something,
6-pack, even 4-pack or something. I mean, dude looked nasty. You know what I'm saying?
Hey man, his game was here
But
though.
it was his.
Yeah.
He hit like as slow as could be. He was 6'2", couldn't touch the backboard. Like literally could jump. And we probably, if this the backboard, he couldn't get there. You know what I'm saying? Couldn't outrace anybody. But you couldn't stay in front of him.
Nope.
Couldn't stay in front of him on defense. Can run any fast break and can make any play. And to play with him, and I had already had an all-Met year. I led the city in scoring the year before he got there. So he just made that easier. You know, I remember one game playing Roosevelt, and they're playing a boxing one. And this is not even a boxing one. This is like this dude ain't even playing offense. The dude on Roosevelt. He's just,
was this up Rose?
Yeah.
I was at that
he's
game.
Literally
Jerry was checking.
He's literally not even. No, it wasn't even him.
Oh.
No, so this was. No. It wasn't Jerry. Okay. It wasn't Jerry. Jerry probably did a little bit, but this dude he didn't even play offense. Just literally stood there beside me, just made sure I didn't get the basketball. And I remember ball tipped out. Earl had a wide open layup, but he knew, okay, this is our leading scorer. He ain't really got it going yet. He turned around to me and was like, come, just laid it all to me. That was my first 2 points of the game. Ended up maybe getting like 18 or 19, which was way under my average at the time. And, that just showed you what, I would have loved to see him on the college level because of that. Get his body right.
Yeah.
Because he would have got his body right, probably had him eating right. This dude was, man, I could talk about him all day. But he was, he was amazing, man. Earl Wisby was probably top 2 or 3 point guards that I've seen in my lifetime. I don't care what level.
Yeah.
Awesome. Because I got to think about what he would have been if he would have played college, professional basketball. He just would have made any team better. Like I think he was talking about going to Clemson or something like that at the time, and that didn't pan out. But he was one of the best I've seen.
Yeah. So let's jump to college, right?
Mm-hmm.
What made you commit to South Carolina?
Some unfortunate things, like to be honest. I played with AAU organization, and
you was with Assault?
Yeah, okay. I wasn't going to put the name out there. Just going to let it ride, but they had an organizer and CEO of the program, and due to whatever reasons, he kind of sorted my recruiting down, like on purpose. As a 10th grader at Dunbar, I verbally committed to Syracuse, and that was just where I was going to go. Come on, go to Syracuse and stuff that I was doing. I mean, playing 2 or 3 years at Syracuse, and I might can really get in a high spot. And that fell off the table. I had all these other schools fall off the table at the same time. Towards my junior year, I had Georgia Tech, UConn, Miami, Wisconsin, and West Virginia as like basically my last, or top 5. I say top 5. University of Maryland was like okay, anything falls through here, I would go to Maryland. And everything fell through with those 5 schools, but Gary Williams at Maryland wanted me to go to prep. And I just didn't believe in that. I didn't believe in reclassifying.
Boy, as times change.
Yeah, right. I didn't believe in none of that. I'm thinking I'm ready now. Why would I go to prep school? I want to play college basketball now. Something about it just made it seem like I would have just been behind the 8 ball. So got a call from Rick Duckett, University of South Carolina. Never heard of them. Doesn't even know the colors at the time. Didn't know what was going on with them as a program. And he kind of made his pitch, and I think within a month, Coach Dave Odom, who I think is an icon in college basketball, he used to coach at Wake Forest,
Right.
Coach Tim Duncan and those guys. He gave me a call and told me that he would come up to DC to see me, and we met over at Union Station at the Uno Pizzeria at Union Station, and he brought Randolph Childress with him that played at Wake Forest, legend, and we talked, and he kind of won me over. Him itself, I knew he was at a school that's trying to get it built up, and I knew that, you know, he was going to lead that school to some good things, and I wanted to be a part of that. So that was why I chose South Carolina.
Okay. Transition wise from high school to college, what you think was the biggest difference from you, being a guy at Dunbar to all of a sudden now you coming in? Did you carve out space right away, or was there
I
adjustment?
did. Yeah, I carved out space right away. I went and played. I started some games, but I played behind Michael Boynton. I don't know if y'all know him. He's the current head coach at Oklahoma State.
Yep.
Unbelievable leader, like the best leader I've ever seen in my life. And he taught me so much in that 1 year. God does his thing. He's going to do some things that you don't see immediately.
Question.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So, but I needed that year. I started some games, like I said, started some big time SEC games. But playing under his tutelage and then playing under Dave Odom at the same time, it was perfect. When Dave Odom came to my grandmother's house in 2000, I think the end of 2002, he told me, like, you're going to have to fight to be a starter your freshman year, but you'll never miss a start after that, no matter what happens. And that's what happened for 4 years. That's exactly what happened. So I needed that first year to kind of know, because I wasn't vocal. We come, we're quiet, naturally. I'm coming into a college that's playing in the SEC and wasn't vocal. I didn't know how to really, lead. I always led by example. I always led by what I did. I always led by being there early, staying there after practice, getting shots up, being the guy that's going hard in the weight room, sprints and all that kind of stuff, being the first one. But I didn't know how to actually, tell guys, look, this is what needs to happen here. This is where you need to go. And I learned that from Michael Boynton. I learned a lot of different things, how to connect with my teammates and be that leader. And I had to be that leader. I was the captain as a sophomore. You know what I'm saying? So I had to come right in, fresh off my freshman season, and just actually be the main focal point of the team. So,
Right.
And that helped. That helped.
I was gonna say every year it looked like you got better.
Yeah.
Right. And so like what changes, I guess, off season did you make, or was it just like, okay, I got a new role, I got a new understanding? Like what changed that helped you continue to climb?
I think it was the role. The role had changed from year to year. Coach, he didn't ask me to score that much when I first got there. And when you go to college, you have a million people, your family, your friends, and they just see me average 30 in high school, and I'm going and I'm averaging 8 points, 12 points, and stuff like that, and they think, oh, he's not letting you, but he is. He's telling me to go out there because this game where you'll see I'm gonna have 25. You know what I'm saying? But that's the game that I needed to get 25. But I'm playing with some dogs. I'm playing with some great guys. So I didn't need to score as much, those first 3 seasons.
How, real quick, how did that affect you from you having to be the guy to score all the time to you don't need to do as much as a point guard? How did that affect you, like mentally?
I was never one of those guys, that kind of went back to the dorms or the apartments and just kind of put my head down, like, man, this is not working out. I'm about to transfer. I never had that moment. Because I always put it on me. If the job wasn't getting done, it was my fault. It was, so. And then I understood what coach was doing. Like I said, he didn't ask me to do a lot of scoring. He did ask me to run a team, keep my turnovers down. I remember that assist to turnover ratio. We always talked about that. And that, I was playing 37, 38, 39 minutes from a sophomore on. I led the league in minutes, I think, as a junior and a senior. and was like third or fourth in minutes as a sophomore. I was never coming out of the game. So yeah, I had the opportunity to go in there and score the basketball, but that's not what he was asking me to do. We had Ronaldo Balkman, we had Torrance Kinsey, who I thought was one of the best mid-range players I've ever seen. I mean, he was like death. He was the one that I think, to me, because I didn't see anybody do that before him. That jab step crossover right off the jab step. Like he was the first one to do that. So he would pull up 6'6", skinny dude, mid range. Man, he was just knocking that down. So I didn't really need to do a lot from the offensive standpoint in regards to scoring. So I just went out there and just really facilitated. And then I know we're gonna talk about this, but when I started to play pro ball, if you look at some of these stats when I was overseas, I'm leading the country in assists. So I remember before I got a jump shot in high school, that's what I would do. I would just get in the lane, shoot my floater, spin, go baseline, but I was also getting off of it. It was just that at Dunbar, people, that's what I had to do. So it was really that's just who I was as a basketball player. You need me to do this, I do it. You need me to do that, I do it. And I just kind of helped mold myself into whatever that was.
It's awesome.
Except for defense. Like, if you just ask me to come in there and be picking up 94 feet, it's not a conversation. Watched all this film, signing me to play. Don't come back. Like, we see me playing 94 feet. I'm going to stay in front of this dude. You know what I'm saying? He ain't gonna kill me or nothing. He might get 12, 13. I'm gonna have 25, but don't ask me to come over here talking nobody 94 feet. So we trace that. I don't want that quote to get out of hand. If you need me to do this, to do that. But defense, I'm gonna just play my part, play a little help side, get a little, try to throw it over top and get a little tip. None of that other stuff. We ain't doing that.
So let's jump into the NIT, right? Like how was that experience for you?
I think Washington D.C. made that experience what it was. We were in New York at Madison Square Garden, but there was 150 people there from D.C. to support me.
Wow.
Okay.
I remember the tickets. I remember people calling about tickets. Man, the school was, they were generous in regards to not making people pay. Yeah. I think the most somebody had to pay was $20, $25, and they gave it to the people in South Carolina, and they was able to get in. But there's a picture on like my Instagram. I brought my grandmother out to mid-court, Madison Square Garden. I think I got all tournament team, and then she has the all tournament team trophy in her hand. I got the NIT trophy in my hand. And that was special. She raised me. She was like, she took me in with my mom after my mom passed, and that was an unbelievable experience for me. So I think, from an overall spectrum of everything, that was the ultimate time for me for that NIT. The basketball part, being able to play these schools that we always seen on TV, the Michigan, we think we beat Michigan in the championship, Louisville. Looking over the other end and seeing Rick Pitino coach, University of Maryland, Gary Williams, like that was, this is where you want to be. It's the NIT, but this is where you want to be. This is where you want to be, and I think I cherish those moments more than anybody. So that was a special time.
Awesome, man. So senior year, obviously we talked about your roles and how they changed, and now like you the guy.
Yeah.
You got busy. I think you got first team SEC. What was it? The Francis, I always mispronounce this. The
Francis Pomeroy Smith Award.
Yeah,
that was for the best player in the country, 6 feet and under.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was.
How did that make you feel?
I didn't even know what the award was when they first told me, but I looked at the previous winners, and all these dudes in the NBA: Nate Robinson, Jameer Nelson, Dean Bryant, all these guys, and when you're putting in the work and you get accolades like that, especially national accolades, first team All SEC. I'm on the first team with the other 4 guys.
You remember those guys?
Joakim Noah, Al Horford, Corey Brewer, all played with Florida.
Yeah. And
I forgot the other guy. That might have been Big Baby Davis or somebody. That was at LSU. So to see that, it was one of those things where it's gratifying, but you know that you put in the work, you know, to receive these things. And you know, that year, my senior year, it wasn't about the accolades, to be honest with you. It was another kind of divine moment that really defined that season. Which a lot of people don't know. You gotta look at some articles. You gotta look through some things to really see what happened that year. So in December, probably I think it was like 10 games into my senior year, I tore the meniscus in my left knee. Tore my meniscus, and I tore it against, I think it was Jacksonville. We played just a non-conference game, trying to get ready for the conference season, and tear my meniscus. So I remember the next day I had to go get an MRI. The day after that, the trainer calls me and he's telling me that I need to get down to the training room immediately. I can hear the depth in his voice, like, okay, something's serious. So I didn't think it was an ACL or anything. I didn't think it was anything. I'm thinking, okay, he's gonna tell me something. We're gonna treat this thing, and I keep playing. So I go down there, and people all in the training room, coaches, every coach. You got a couple of my teammates in there, guys with watery eyes and everything. Like, and the trainer looks at me and he's like, Trey, you know, your senior season is over with. And I was like, man, because you know, at this point, I haven't missed a game.
Yeah.
You know, I'm talking about throughout my life. 10, 11-year-old, never missed a game. High school, didn't miss a game. I played all the way up to that point in college, never missed a game. I didn't even know how that sounded. You know, I didn't know how to feel about that. So I kept it brief with him inside of the training room. He told me that he had to pick me up at 5 a.m. the next morning in order to get the surgery, because that's going to end my season. So I left out. You know, I left out, went back up to my apartment, and as I'm walking out of the concourse in the arena where we practice, I remember making some calls. I made a couple of calls. I called my uncle. I called one of my mentors, Delonte Taylor. You guys know that. And I called Kurt Bone. 3 guys I talked to pretty much every day after every game, and all 3 of them got emotion. You know, got emotion. And it was like, man, this is really happening, because I feel like to them, this is about to mean no future. You know, I don't know if I'm going that route mentally yet, because I don't even know. They're telling me, you know, 2 months I'll be out. But you start thinking about that, like, dang, you know, I'm trying to go to the draft. You know, I don't know anything about overseas, so I'm not even thinking about that yet. I'm trying to be an NBA player. This is what the goal has always been since we were kids. So I called my grandmother, and I called 3 men, thorough, cold-blooded dudes, and I called my grandma. She's the most calm person. Oh, I'm sorry to hit this, but you know, everything's gonna be fine. Don't worry about it. You know what I'm saying? And she's like, I'll call you tonight at about 9:30. Call you tonight. Keep your head up. We'll talk tonight. Okay. I'll keep on walking. I walk to my to my apartment, and going through that the rest of that day, because this was early. So this is like 1 o'clock. Got my teammates, they coming over crying, and man, we miss you, man, out there, this and that, good luck in the future. I mean, I'm getting that, you know what I'm saying? And we had a team chaplain at the time. He comes over, they're praying with me and my teammates, are praying for, you know, the surgery, they're praying for my future in basketball. You know, it's getting deep, you know, it's pretty much getting deep. And about 9:30 that night, my grandmother called, and at this time, I'm just kind of laying down, just like relaxing, you know, trying to process everything, getting ready for, you know, to go in here tomorrow morning and get the surgery. And first thing she says was, you know, you don't have to get the surgery. You know, you'll be fine. It's already taken care of. So don't worry about anything. You're going to continue to play. You're going to continue to play well. Don't worry about it. I'm like, what, Grandma? I'm like, man, you know, I'm trying to process this now because I know who I'm dealing with, to be honest with you. Like, literally know who I'm dealing with. But this, I've seen this person now. I told you guys about my mom, 1996. That's her daughter. She lost two other children to murder 5 years before, only 2 months apart. You see what I'm saying? But I seen her operate through these things as a man would, like, you know, the strongest person that you ever seen. Like, this is the most strongest person I've ever seen in my life. And this is what I was feeding from. You know, when I was, you know, I moved with her, I was always over there anyway. You know, you go to grandma's house, I'm always there.
Yeah.
I'm always there. So now I'm living there. I'm waking up, you know, I didn't have a room when I first got there. I'm sitting on the couch every morning, but I'm waking up to like papers turning, whispering. She's reading the Bible, 5:30 every morning. Never missed a morning. You know what I'm saying? So I'm getting my strength from what God has given her to, you know, to develop her family. Because there's 16 of us in a 4-bedroom in Northeast Washington, D.C. at this particular time. And she's not wavering at all. You know, she knows that there's other people in here that I have to raise, that I have to take care of. She's raising her children's children, that some children are passed away and some are still in this house, and she's raising their children also. So I know who I'm dealing with. So I'm questioning, like, hey, does she know what's going on here? I got to torn meniscus. I can't go out here and play. And at the time, from a bodily standpoint, I literally can't do nothing with my leg. Like, if I try to straighten it, it feels like it's about to break. If I bend it all the way, it feels like it's about to break. So meniscus is what they call a bucket handle tear. Right. If you look at a bucket, there's a handle on it that goes back and forth, and that's what my meniscus did. It flipped, and it blocks any motion. If it flips, it blocks any motion from straightening or bending my knee. So that's the position that my knee is in while I'm on the phone with her. See what I'm saying? And I'm talking to her, and she's just like, she's telling me these things. And before we get off the phone, she reiterates it, like, don't go get that surgery tomorrow. Like, you're fine. And I'm like, okay, Grandma. I remember we had the Nextels back then. And I flipped the phone closed. And as I'm putting the phone down, I have my knee in my hand like this. And as soon as I put the phone down,
straighten your knee out.
Went straight. Promise.
Oh man.
Wow.
I promise.
Divine.
It went straight, like it went straight, and I'm like bending it, which I couldn't do minutes before, straightening it, which I couldn't do minutes before. I stand up, I'm kind of like throwing defensive slides in my apartment and everything. And I'm like, this is incredible. It's like, no way this is happening. So, didn't call anybody, didn't say anything. 5 o'clock comes, I'm outside, getting in. The trainer, his name is Mark Rogers. I'm getting in Mark's car, and he's taking me to the hospital to get the surgery. So, go to the no. As soon as I get in, I look over and I'm like, you know, Mark, I'm not going to get this surgery, man. I'm gonna play. And he must have thought I was on drugs. Like, seriously, he must have thought, because he looked at me like, man, please. He didn't say that, but he looked at me like, please, and just kept driving. We go on to it was a Palmetto Health Hospital down in South Carolina, and get to the front doors. The doors automatically open. Go through 2 sets of those. When he goes through the second one, I stand there, and he turns around and he's looking like, you know, what's going on, man? I'm like, I told you, like, I'm not going to get this surgery. And we walk in. He stands to the side. He calls Coach Odom, who's already upstairs in the scrub in the operating room. He comes down, and by this time, I'm standing over to the side, and I can see through like the reflection in the glass that he's like, you know, where's Trey? Marcus went over there, talked to him. Trey's over here, whatever. Coach comes, and I tell him, like, you know, this is what happened. Like, my grandmother called me last night, and she must have went up there to the man and got this information because, look, you see, I couldn't do this yesterday or the day before. This is what I'm doing today, so I can play. So what they expected was for my knee to like blow up and get swollen and all that kind of stuff. For whatever reason, throughout all these years, I don't get inflammation in my body.
Wow.
Like I can turn my ankle, it's gonna look normal. I done hit stuff, I done hit my knee real hard or something, doesn't blow up. So normally when you tear your meniscus, you see pictures of guys' knees, they're like grapefruit.
Yeah.
You know? So that didn't happen. He kept checking my knee. They gave me a week off. I didn't do anything. And it was like a setup for real, because that's what they wanted to happen. They didn't want me to do anything to help my knee. They didn't want me, they iced it. But he kept checking, and I'm looking at him every time he's checking my knee, because he's like, and I'm like, I can play. So they made me miss my only game against East Carolina. And I think I had a workout the day after that game. I had a workout with just the trainers, the doctors, and they looking at me cutting. They're looking at me making plays. I'm in there by myself, doing this, backing up, defensive slides. And they're like, man, this is impossible. You know what I'm saying? But I'm like, I'm just trying to play. Like, I get what all y'all talking about. I'm not even worried about the future. Like, I want to play. I cannot sit over here for, the SEC season is 16 games. We got 2 or 3 more non-conference games. That's like 19, 20 games. I can't do it. Can't sit over here. I'm not even gonna show up if y'all give me not play. I'm not telling you, I'm not coming. So ended up, I came back against Kansas, and that was it. Like, came back against Kansas. I was just tired. They made me miss a week, so I was tired. Then we played Kentucky at like 20 at half, and then played Florida at like 25 at half or something like that. And then that was giving me confidence because, the knee injury was actually making the game slower for me. So I didn't have to rely on my physical ability, because I can't really get to every spot like I want. But I'm getting to a spot, I'm spinning off, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. And it's slowing my game down. I'm shooting more pull-ups, I'm shooting more floaters. It's 6'10", 6'11" guys in there in the SEC. And it was allowing me to play better. So my output, and that's what you saw, the scoring average went up 7, 8 points. I think I even averaged like 22 in SEC play. And a lot of people didn't know about the knee injury until after the season. I think they were calling it like tendonitis or something during the season, but they didn't know that it was a torn meniscus inside my left knee. And there was times where that bucket handle would flip, and they would have to take me in the back during the game to kind of like maneuver my knee back in so that it would go back in. I would just go back out there to play. It was just so relentless on, just playing that senior season, because I don't know what I would have been crazy just sit on the sideline, not being able to play. And that was my senior season. At the end came all these accolades and these things that I think was, it was a testament to the whole spectrum of the story, instead of just me playing basketball and doing well. It was a lot behind that.
And shout out to Grandma.
Oh man, she just passed away 4 years ago in 2019. But I spent my better days, with that one, like, unbelievable person, the strongest person, like I said, that you'll ever see in your life, like, period. People harp on their grandmothers and everything, but I've never seen anybody like that. I've never seen a person like this. Forget about who she was as a grandmother, a woman, but as a person, I've never seen anything like it, man. Beat 2 times that she fought breast cancer and beat it down, beat it down, like beat breast cancer twice. And the second time I was in college and we didn't even know. She was going to the hospital, just saying to my aunts, whoever was taking her, even me sometimes when I came home, that it was like a regular checkup. Wow. Yeah. She's going in there for breast cancer treatment. You stay out here, you don't need to go in here with me. Just drop me off at the front, come back, and she's in there going through breast cancer treatment. You know what I'm saying? Wow. Yeah. And that's different, because everybody wants to, talk about what they're dealing with from a negative standpoint, hardship. And some people look for attention with that. And that taught me something, because, as people, we go through a lot, you know, whether it's work, whether it's physical, whether it's mental. There's a lot to deal with in life as human beings. And what she taught me is, you know, just take one step forward, and you know something's going to happen in a positive way, especially if you let God lead it. And man, I've never seen any example of that better than what she did. You know.
Awesome.
Man, yeah, man, definitely God bless the grandma.
Oh, for sure, unbelievable, man, unbelievable. We stood on the opposite side of each other for a long time, especially growing up. But it's good, you know, for us to come together and do something positive, you know, kind of, you know, feedback to that younger generation. It's not just with basketball, man. Our city is missing a lot, you know, missing a lot of this stuff. People really speaking the truth and speaking to actually help. It's, you know, we're losing a lot of people, we're losing a lot of kids these days, and it's not fair. It's not a good feeling. They're taking away the opportunities that we had as kids. Like, there's no Boys and Girls Club anymore.
Talk an hour about that.
It's so crazy that I see these activists and these people talking about, you know, helping the youth, and how is that missing? You know, the normal, regular neighborhood kid can't go to your neighborhood Boys and Girls Club and be on a basketball, football, baseball team like we used to.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm talking about a kid that never has aspirations to play professionally, or will never
Just
play
there.
college, but you're there. You're implementing something into that kid's mind or heart in order for him to at least want to be somebody. If he makes a turn down the road, you can't really control that.
But you gave him opportunity.
They're coming outside and they're going straight to whatever they see, and that's the drugs, that's the, you know, that's the alcohol, that's the guns, that's, you know, what they're getting into, you know, the murders and stuff like that. It's just going to grow until they give these kids an opportunity to just do kid stuff. These kids are 10, 11, 12 years old. I'm hearing, you know, got guns as big as them.
Yeah,
and that's unbelievable. Carjacking and doing all this stuff. So I'm hoping that changes, you know, throughout the city, and you know, I would love to be a part of that. So, you know, we're sitting here talking about our childhoods and things that we had growing up. It's the reason why we can sit here today and talk about this stuff. These kids need that same opportunity, I feel. You know. So.
Understood, y'all. Hey man, well listen, thank y'all for tapping in with us for another episode of Game Related. Make sure y'all like, subscribe, follow, share. You know, make sure y'all follow Tre on Instagram. We'll definitely have his tag set up.
All right, y'all, stay game related.
We got relations. You know it's game related. Don't do this to be famous. I really got passion.